All right, so now let's apply the proportion to some word problems. All right, so the key here is you have to make sure you set up the quantities the same. And what I mean by the same is that you have the same type of thing on top and bottom. So it's either distance over time or rate over gallons or whatever the two quantities are, you always have to be setting up the same one on top and the same one on bottom. So it could be height over height, or height over width, height over width. But when you're comparing two things with a proportion, same quantities have to be on top and then bottom. So here we have comparing a map to the actual distance. All right, so it says 5 inches on the map is 41 miles in real life. So here we want to make sure we have map to real. That's the way I'm thinking of it. So Connecticut is, or this map of Connecticut, we got 5 inches per 41 miles. Remember, when we compare, think fractions. And that's got to equal 3.5 inches over something. All right, so both times it's the map distance over the real distance. That's what I mean by having the same things on top and bottom, right? Map and real, and this is for the map and the real. So now once you've set it up correctly, it's very easy to solve. It's just like our last lesson. So all we're going to do is cross multiply and solve. So we have 35 times 41, which is, or 3.5 times 41, which is 143.5, and then 5 times x. Divide both sides by 5 here, and we've got 28.7 miles. So 28.7, and we're solving for something in miles, the real distance, so it's 28.7 miles. All right, so here we're comparing the height of a crate, 1.5 feet, and it casts a 2-foot shadow. So we're comparing the height versus the shadow, height per shadow. So the way we're going to do that there is 1.5 feet casts a 2-foot shadow. All right, you can add the units. I didn't put them here. It's not really essential as long as you're always comparing the right things in the right places. And then the tree has an 18-foot shadow. So shadow's on bottom. That's 18 feet. I don't know what's up here. So now I'm going to cross multiply and solve. So I've got 1.5 times 18. 1.5 times 18 is 27. 2 times x. And now we solve. And that gives us 13.5 equals x. And it's 13.5 what? That is 13.5 feet. That's how tall the tree is. Okay, so now unit conversion is one other way we apply proportions. So we've got Usain Bolt runs a world record on the 100-meter dash with a time of 9.76. That's really, really fast. How many miles per hour is that? Okay, so miles per hour is going to be a distance over per unit time. Now they give us 100 meters. Now here, when you're doing unit conversion, converting units, you do have to keep the units. So m is the units for meters, and then that's per 9.76 seconds. Okay, now I drew this long line because what we're going to do is, this is just the easiest way to keep it organized when doing unit conversions. All right, you do the same thing in physics or other science classes where you have to convert things. Now, I want you to think for a second. What is 1 kilometer over 1 kilometer? Right, that just equals 1. Now, whenever I multiply something by 1, it does not actually change it. So when we're converting units, we're representing something a different way, but it's the exact same thing. So whether I say meters per second or miles per hour, it should be the same speed either time, right? So instead of doing kilometer over kilometer, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So just like 1 kilometer over 1 kilometer equals 1, and I can multiply something by 1 and that doesn't change it, 1,000 meters over 1 kilometer is really some quantity over the same exact quantity, So something over itself is equal to 1. So when I multiply by this, it doesn't change anything. All right? Same as if I were to multiply by 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters. These are really the same thing. So 1 over itself is just equals 1. So I'm going to multiply by that long explanation was to show you why I can do this. This is just going to be like a long fraction line where I'll multiply the things on top, multiply on bottom, and then divide at the end here. But it's just like a big long fraction. So I'm going to do 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters, right? Because the things in red, those are exactly the same, so I'm allowed to multiply by 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters. And then I did meters on the bottom. How do I know whether to do it meters on top and kilometers on the bottom, or kilometers on top and meters on the bottom? Well, I did that because I wanted the units to cancel. All right, so that's how I know. I want the units to cancel. That's how I know whether to do kilometers on top or meters on top. So then now I have kilometers per second when I finish that calculation. So I want miles per hour, so I'm going to get miles. And we know that 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers. All right, so now kilometers cancel. So now I have miles over seconds, but I want hours. So we have 60 seconds is equal to 1 hour. Notice that every time these two quantities are exactly the same. 60 seconds and 1 hour. 1 mile is equal to 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. All right, so now the seconds cancel, and I have miles over, my bad, that's not 60 seconds in 1 minute, I'm sorry. And then I have to multiply by 60 minutes in 1 hour. So the minutes cancel, and I'm left with miles over hour. Right? So that's what I'm left with in units. So now I just do that calculation. I'm going to multiply across on the top. 100 times 1 times 1 times 60 times 60. 9.76 times 1,000 times 1.6 times 1 times 1. So I already did this in my calculator. So I'm just going to drag this over. So that gives me 360,000 over 15,616, and then that will approximate to about 23 miles per hour. So if we plug that in and do 3,600, or 360,000, my bad, divided by 15,616. That was awkward. 23.05 miles per hour. So about 23 miles per hour. All right, so with unit conversion, set it up the way you want, distance over time. And then each one of these multipliers has to be equivalent. So like 60 minutes is equivalent to 1 hour. And you keep doing that until the units cancel and you end up with miles per hour like we were looking for. All right, here's your U-tries. Good luck with those, and any questions you have, make sure you jot them down so you don't forget to ask next class.